Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm 47 years old, and in the last 2 years, I've lost over 150 pounds. When it comes to losing weight, most people focus on one particular number, the number on the scale. But there's another important question that also matters just as much. What kind of weight are you actually losing? Because the goal isn't just to become smaller, the goal is to become healthier, stronger, and more capable too. When I began this journey, I had spent decades carrying more than 150 extra pounds. But I didn't just want to lose weight, I wanted to build a body that could support the life I wanted to live. A body that could hike, a body that could travel, a body that could easily explore beautiful places without constantly fighting against my own limitations. And as we talked about in my previous video, where I talked about how I exercised when I weighed over 300 pounds, movement was a huge part of that. But there's another important piece around movement, and that is protecting and building muscle while also losing fat. Because losing weight should not mean losing your strength or becoming frail. Today, I want to share what I learned about preserving muscle during a major weight loss journey and why this matters even more as we get older. One thing I wish I had understood earlier in life is that the scale does not tell the whole story. Two people can lose the exact same amount of weight or weigh the same, but have very different outcomes. One person might lose mostly fat while maintaining their strength. Another person might lose a large amount of muscle along with that fat and end up weak. And especially as we get older, maintaining muscle becomes incredibly important for maintaining health and preventing injuries and maintaining independence and mobility. With large weight loss, some degree of lean mass loss is to be expected, but the goal is to minimize muscle loss while maximizing fat loss, with fat loss being the loss you actually want. Muscle is not just about appearance, though. It affects strength, mobility, balance, independence, and our ability to do the things we love. When I think about my own goals, maintaining muscle is not just about trying to look like a fitness model or a bodybuilder. It's about being able to say yes to life. It's about carrying my own luggage, climbing a trail, getting myself up off the floor, exploring a national park, living independently and with continued dignity as I age. One thing that helped me tremendously was that I had already been strength training for decades before I lost weight. I joined my first gym when I was 16 years old. My body has always had a tendency to gain fat easily. That has been one of my lifelong challenges. But it turns out my body at the same time has had a strength. I also build muscle relatively easily. For years, it felt like my body and genetics were fighting me in one area while also quietly helping me in another. Even at my highest weight, I continued regularly lifting weights and walking. Looking back now, I believe that habit helped preserve my mobility and relatively good health. It helped me maintain strength and prevent injuries even while carrying a lot of extra weight. And when I began losing weight, I wanted to protect that important foundation I had built. And if you want to build and preserve your own muscle foundation, but aren't sure where to start, I'll share what has worked well for me. The three biggest tools I used to protect my muscle were surprisingly simple: protein, giving my muscles a reason to stay, and the timing of workouts. First, protein. When I eat after fasting, whether that is after a shorter fasting window or a longer fast, one of my priorities is making sure that I get enough high quality protein. Protein provides the building blocks that my body needs to maintain and repair lean tissue. Common recommendations currently are for adults to eat zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Since I fasted for full days often in order to lose weight, I calculated protein based upon a weekly intake, though, rather than daily, so that I would average the correct amount of protein a day for my weight. Eating enough nutritious foods during eating windows also helps prevent from losing weight too fast, as rapid weight loss tends to come from too much muscle rather than fat. So, aiming for losing 1 to 2 pounds per week is generally recommended by the medical professionals who have guided me through this. The second piece to building the muscle foundation is resistance training. Your muscles are constantly adapting to the signals you give them. If your body receives the message, we still need this muscle, it has a reason to preserve it. That doesn't mean you need to lift enormous amounts of weights or look like famous bodybuilders. It doesn't mean you need to spend hours in a gym. It just means challenging your muscles consistently. That can be weights. It's easy to use these at home. Weights like this can wrap around your legs and help you work out your legs. Resistance bands. These work your muscles well just by pulling on them in different ways. There's also this one. This can wrap around, say, a staircase or something else sturdy, a very sturdy piece of furniture. And then you can work different kinds of muscles by pulling this. And these bands range from 25 to 75 pounds of pressure, which is a pretty good range as you build strength and muscle mass. Body weight exercises are also very good. Something as simple as squats, push-ups. You can do modified push-ups if you need to. Um, and abdominal crunches are great for working your body without even any equipment or a gym. So those are things you can start at home today if you don't already. Just do whatever works for you. Resistance training for muscles throughout the body, done about 2 to 3 times a week, maybe 20 or 30 minutes for a full body workout, has served me very well. The third piece of the muscle foundation is timing my workouts according to a fasting schedule. And that's something new I've learned recently. And according to what I learned from Dr. Jason Fung's works, working out with resistance training after having fasted for overnight or even longer, like during an extended fast of 24 hours or more, and before I eat anything for the day, that has helped my body take advantage of hormonal processes that occur during the fasted state in order to maximize the benefits of the exercise. So I now perform my resistance training exercises at the very least before I eat anything for the day, if not during an extended fast. Initially, I thought that working out in the fasted state would make me feel too tired and depleted while I was working out, but actually, I felt surprisingly much more energized and my performance was much better compared with when I would eat before working out earlier in my life. One thing I found fascinating during this whole journey was learning how the body adapts during fasting. Before this journey, I assumed that losing weight meant constantly fighting hunger and forcing myself through deprivation. But learning about metabolism really changed my perspective. For me, fasting helped my body become more comfortable accessing stored energy. It also helped me break away from frequent eating throughout the day. And as I learned more about fasting, hormones, and processes like autophagy, improving insulin sensitivity, and increasing human growth hormone produced by the body, I became fascinated by the body's ability to adapt. I also want to be clear, fasting is not magic, but it is a very powerful tool. And the foundation absolutely matters. Adequate nutrition through enough protein, movement, and regular resistance training, and working out while fasting. For me, all of these pieces work really well together. If you are over 40, 50, or 60, I especially want to emphasize this. This is not about vanity. This is about protecting your future self. As we age, maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important. And after spending so much of my life carrying so much extra weight, I don't simply want to be lighter. I want to be stronger. I want to be capable. I want to remain independent. I want to be the person who says, yes, let's take that trail. Yes, let's walk through that city. Yes, let's go see that beautiful place. That is why muscle matters. It's not just about what you see in the mirror, even though more muscle does look great, but it's about the life your body allows you to live. As I move towards long term maintenance now, my focus is shifting. For so long, the goal was about losing weight. Now, the goal is building and maintaining a body that supports the life I want. Maintenance is not just about keeping the scale from going back up, although avoiding fat regain is important. It's continuing to care for yourself, continuing to get stronger, and doing more of the things in life you love. Continuing to invest in yourself and in your future. And that is a journey I'm so excited to continue sharing with you. In the next video, we're going to talk about something that has affected just about everyone trying to lose weight or even manage their weight: the modern food environment. Because while personal choices do matter, our choices also don't happen in a vacuum. Over the last several decades, the foods available to us, the way they are marketed, common food habits and social norms, and the advice many of us were given about nutrition has changed dramatically and has kept changing. And I think understanding that bigger picture is important. Not so we can place blame, but so we can understand the challenge we're actually all facing. Because when we understand the environment we're living in, we can be empowered to make better choices within it. My name is Rachel. This is 150 Pounds Down. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. What's a favorite muscle building and resistance training exercise you have? Or what's one you'd like to try if you haven't started yet? Let me know in the comments.